couple of your mailbag things. What do you think Paul DePodesta's departure does for Andrew Berry? Does it do anything for it?
Yeah, I'm not sure it does do anything. I don't think they're connected, right? Like, okay, DePodesta's gone. Now we're going to have a total overhaul of the organization. That might happen, but it's not just because Paul DePodesta left to go back to baseball. I think that was a while coming, and I don't think it's connected to Andrew Berry. Now, I had somebody else ask in the mailbag, what about moving up Berry and then finding a new GM? I don't know if Berry would be interested in that at all, but the idea is intriguing. I don't think they would make Berry a chief strategy officer. I don't even know if they're going to fill that position. But could they make him a president or whatever title you want to give him, and then find somebody else to be like your number one talent evaluator? Obviously, Berry has had hits and misses. We all know that. That's why we're even talking about his future. But I do think he brings a lot of value to the organization. So if it got to the point where the Haslams wanted to find somebody else to be your number one talent guy as GM, then you could talk about, okay, does Andrew Berry have a different role in the organization?
The other thing that I thought, and tell me your thoughts on this, when DePodesta left, I think that opens the door and it's a bad example now because it's not a high-profile guy. If somebody like Bill Belichick or Harbaugh was on the radar, somebody who's going to come in and say, I need to be able to tell you, I need to hire this, and this guy, or I'm not interested. I think it opens it up potentially to that kind of change for the Browns.
Yeah, that's interesting. You might be right? There's not that guy sitting at the top like DePodesta was. They might have been able to do that anyway. Like I said, it feels like DePodesta has had this baseball idea in the back of his head for a while. But to the rest of us, at least we know that he's not there. So I get what you're saying. I don't think that's ludicrous.
But I can't, to be honest with you, I can't come up with a guy that's sitting out there who I would feel that way about.
Yeah, my buddies keep texting me about Peyton Manning. Like, could Peyton Manning come in and be the guy that sits at the top of the organization and makes those kind of decisions?
I think he's going to be the guy that Jimmy Haslam asks, who should I find that can do that? That's more reasonable to expect what Jimmy Haslam will do relative to Peyton Manning. Another one of your mailbags, do you think Kevin Stefanski's job security was kind of connected to the idea that he was going to be agreeable to everything DePodesta came up with? And how do you feel about that?
I don't have a great grasp of exactly what Paul DePodesta did. Right? Does anybody?
Nobody does.
I don't think he was this behind the scenes Wizard of Oz, like directing everybody to do everything. I don't think he was that hands-on. Yes, the Haslams relied on him. Yes, he was involved in the hiring of Stefanski and Berry, and certainly would be consulted on big decisions and trades, and whether or not you move down from 2 to 5, and the top draft picks. But I don't think he was the guy making those picks, and I don't think he was the guy telling Kevin Stefanski, who to play on third down and to use 12 personnel or any of those kind of things. I think he was much more bigger picture and probably had a bigger influence in the offseason than he did during the season.
Yeah, I think, again, the reason I say Peyton Manning with Jimmy Haslam, I think he had Jimmy Haslam's ear. And somebody will have Jimmy Haslam's ear. I don't know who it's going to be. And that will be an important guy in the Browns moving forward.
Yeah, that's fair. There's always somebody like that in an organization, right? And, I think DePodesta he did what he was brought in to do, and it's processes and research. And, I have no doubt that he improved that part of the Browns. But when it comes to, the overall record and draft picks, did he have a positive influence on all of that? I mean, probably not, just given, the record we're looking at.